Hi, it's Colleen and welcome to my YouTube channel. Remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button so you never miss another one of my videos. Today I'm going to show you how to make an easy scenery card using the Catherine Pooler Designs new release. If you're anything like me, I'm very intimidated with making scenery cards, so I'm hoping to give you a few tips today on how to make an easy and gorgeous scenery card. Let's get started. We're working with two stamp sets today, the Old Oak Tree background stamp and the Best Place stamp. And you can see that Best Place stamp comes with a set of dies, and there's a lot of sweet little items in there that you can use to create a scenery. Right now, I am pulling out the items that I want to use for the card that I'm going to make today. I'm going to make a very simple scenery card using a cloud background, that tree that you see, and then these little items here that we will end up die cutting. So you can see I'm taking a wire cutter and I'm cutting apart these dies. And make sure you're careful with that because the end of the dies can be very sharp, and I've cut myself a number of times accidentally. Now that I've got all my stuff die cut, I'm looking at this color wheel that Catherine had come up with. It's for the party collection, and I'm choosing my colors for my sky background. So I'm going to be using It's a Girl, Something Borrowed, and Suede Shoes, and I'm going to make a really easy cloud background using the stencil you see here. For me, this is a great way to create a scenery very easily because I'm not good at creating my own clouds. So this stencil saves the day for me. And I like the stencil because there's two sides to it. So you can move the stencil around like you'll see me do here. And so that each cloud formation will be just a little bit different than the one before it. So you see how I just flipped it. And now I'm going with a different color ink. And I'm just going to create as natural of a look as I can using that stencil. But don't be too hard on yourself in doing this because I think the stencil does all the work for you. And the inking doesn't have to be that great either. Remember, these are cloud formations and you want them to look natural. Now you're going to see here that this third color I'm using came in way darker than the other ones. So I'm just going back in and adding a little more of the darkest color to the cloud formation below so it looks ombre like that. Look how easy that was. I already got a background done just by using colors and a stencil. Now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to stamp that tree, the Old Oak Tree background stamp, and I'm just going to use 3 different colors of the brown inks from Catherine Pooler, and I will have everything listed in the description box below for you so that if you want those inks, you'll know what to look for. Now I'm going to use all 3 of these colors on my stamp because I want the tree to look a little bit dimensional, and you're also going to see that I'm going to take my spray bottle and I'm going to spray over very lightly that tree because Catherine Pooler's inks react to water much like distress inks do, and I want to give that tree a really natural distressed look. And again, this is my way of making a really cool scenery card, the easy way. So I'm just finishing up stamping the tree, and now look, already I've got my tree and I've got my clouds. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to stamp all my little pieces that are going to go on there. And what I'm doing is picking the colors from this party collection color wheel for my little items. I'm starting with grass skirt, and I am actually stamping the birdhouses in that color. I just wanted them to be green and I wanted them to stand out a little bit. And then there's a second little piece that goes over the top of that second. I think it's the roof to that little birdhouse. So I'm going to ink that up as well. And I'm using a different ink for that. And the color I'm using there is called Lime Bricky in the shade of greens. The Party Collection color wheel really helps a lot to pick colors out. Now here you see that did not stamp very well. So I'm going in with the re-inkers from Catherine Pooler and re-inking this. These ink pads are sponge ink pads, and they need to be inked up a little bit more frequently than the other type of ink pads. So I wanted to show this so that you could see how easy it is to just re-ink your ink pads, your Catherine Pooler ink pads, and then they're good to go. They're going to be nice and juicy and ready to go. But I do suggest that you buy the ink re-inkers with the Catherine Pooler ink pads. So now you're going to see how much better this stamps out than it did before. See what a difference that makes? Now I'm going to go in and add my little butterflies, and I'm going back to the Party Collection color wheel, and I'm going to choose a shade of yellow, and I'm using Limoncello. And I thought that was a good color because it's a nice bright yellow, and when I think of butterflies, I just think of bright colors. Now, I'm also going to go in and add my little birdies. And I want my birdies to be red. So I'm going into the color wheel and choosing the color Samba. That's a really nice shade of red that reminds me of, I think it's robins that are red. I don't know, I might be wrong. Cardinals. I think I'm thinking of cardinals. In any case, I am showing you everything that I'm stamping on here because I want you to see that this is the process that I take to add my little pieces. I could stamp those little pieces directly on to the card base, but I really wanted them to pop a little bit more, and I wanted the true color to show through. So I'm stamping them and I'm going to die cut them out. So the next color I am using for my flowers is called Pucker Up. And I'm going to be stamping, I think I stamped about 11 of those flowers because I'm going to put those in the tree. And I wanted a nice, pretty bright pink color to show up in that tree. I'm not going to bore you with everything. See, you can see already I've stamped everything. And now I'm going to add my die cuts and I'm going to die cut everything out. Now, this seems like a lot of work, but it really isn't that bad. And to me, it's easier than stamping it right onto the background because I'm afraid that the colors will not be as true when you do it that way. And the nice thing about die cutting these is you could pop some of those up on foam tape if you want. Now I'm going to trim this down to 5 1/4 by 4 because I want that tree to look like it's coming off of the page. And I'm going to add my sentiment. Now the sentiments are so cute. There's one that says together is the best place to be. And the other one is I love spring and you. Cute, cute sentiments. And I'm using the Midnight Black ink from Catherine Pooler. And look at how good and solid of an image you get with that black ink. Now that that's done, I can go ahead and add my card to my panel to my card base before I go and add my little pieces to them. The next step here will be placement. Before I adhere everything down, I like to place everything where I think I will want them on the page so that it looks natural and everything looks like it's spaced out, I guess you could say, nicely. So that's why I'm going in and doing this step first before I glue everything down. And now when I have everything where I want it, it will be time to start gluing everything into place. And you can see I'm just playing around with formation a little bit here. You know, I'm not exactly sure where I want everything, so I'm moving around a little bit. That's another reason why it's kind of nice to die cut everything instead of stamping right onto that page, because then you can move your little critters and your little pieces around until you get a look that you're happy with. For me, one of the hardest parts about scenery cards is trying to make it look dimensional and make it look real. And so I find that if I can die cut my pieces, it gives me time to place it in a way that I think will look nice. So I took a little black liner pen to add a little line so that it looked like my birdhouses were hanging off of the tree, which is cute. And I'm almost finished with placement of everything, and I'm really happy with how it looks. It looks like it's a close-up of the tree with spring leaves and everything hanging off of the tree. That was the look I was going for. And I'm finishing up by adding some Nouveau glitter drops to the flowers to add some shine. I'm adding black gel pen to the birdie's eyes, and then I'm just adding a little bit of glitter to the birdhouses, and that is my card. Very easy to create a scenery card if you have the right tools to use. I hope that you are inspired by this, and please hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you can follow all my videos.